Welcome back to Valencia and welcome back to the Carenado King Air B200. Today we're going to be looking at a straight-in landing, clear weather conditions and zero wind. The first thing I should say is there will be a landing gear warning sound throughout a lot of this replay. It is a replay bug, so please ignore it. This is obviously landing gear down, and we will go to full flaps, and we'll be looking to descend at about 500 fpm or thereabouts. It will vary a little bit as we adjust. There is no glide slope. I'm not using ILS in order to keep the replay simple. We're going to be looking to descend at 100 to 110 knots. The final approach speed will be 100 knots. That's important because if the speed is higher than that, when we come into flare, even when bringing the power back, we will tend to climb. As we pass over the threshold, we're actually looking for the numbers as the aiming point, and touchdown point is within the first third of the runway. As we pass over the numbers, we will be bringing the power back a little bit, not to idle, but just back enough so that when we raise the nose to a probably 2.5 to 5 degrees nose up pitch, that we don't climb. When we do that, obviously we're going to be slowing the aircraft down because the angle of attack of the wings is going to increase. So airspeed will drop a little bit, and as airspeed drops, also lift will drop, and as a consequence of that, sink rate will start to increase, and you will become aware of sink rate starting to increase. You'll realize that you're dropping a little bit faster than you want to drop. You're looking for a 100 fpm vertical speed when you touch down. The natural reaction at that point will be to pull back more on the stick to slow that sink rate. The problem there is that you are again slowing the aircraft down, and you're slowing the airflow around the wings as angle of attack increases, which is going to reduce lift, so that will actually make the situation worse. Instead, you should add a little bit of power to control sink rate. How much power that you take off and put on will come with experience. The knowledge of that will come with experience. The more of these straighten approaches that you do as practice, the more proficient that you will become at it. That's one of the great things about Explain, that you can set up these 10 or 3 mile approaches, and it's something I would definitely recommend that you do. Later on we'll look at crosswind landings, which will add a little bit of complexity to it. The moment what we're trying to do here is we're just trying to keep it centre line. A trick I use when taxiing is I make sure that I'm right on centre line. Then I'll verify that with an external view, go back into the cockpit, and I'll try to find a reference point on the instrument panel so that I know if I line that point up on centre line, then I'm right down centre line. So that helps me a little bit. It's obviously not easy when you're this sort of distance out to get centre line, but you're just constantly making adjustments. As you can see, we're about 600 fpm. I've just increased it a little bit in order to arrive at the aiming point, or close enough to it. But we're looking around 500, might drop down to 400, but if you can keep it around that range during the approach, then that is a very good approach. It's important to get the nose up. You can find it difficult to maintain that nose up pitch. You've got to really work at keeping the nose where you want it. It's a balance between pitching the aircraft up and giving it and holding that 2.5 to 5 degree nose up pitch, and giving it enough power so that you can maintain that without floating, without climbing. When you're starting out, you'll find yourself looking down every now and then at the instrument panel. You're looking for the aircraft pitch, you're looking for the vertical speed, and looking back up. You'll have to do that less and less as you become more and more experienced. And also you want to be looking at the replay. Again, a good feature of X-Plane is the replay. Just see, bringing the power back, nose up, adding a little bit of power, trying to keep the centre line, and there you go, touchdown. And just slowing the aircraft down. Plenty of runway to practice on here, so no need to use the reverse thrust. And slowing the aircraft down and turning off onto the taxiway. So I hope you found that useful. Again, practice these approaches, practice these techniques. It's about understanding what is going on with the power, understanding how you're controlling the pitch of the aircraft, and getting a controlled descent, getting yourself to a position whereby you're just making minor adjustments of pitch, of roll, and of power, so that you're coming down in a controlled way. So there it is. Hope you enjoyed that, hope you found it useful, and as always, feel free to like, comment and subscribe.